Ms. Segal, would you like to go?
Sure, I'm ready to go. Sorry, it doesn't look like the lighting is very good in here. So, wow, two really interesting speakers. I hope I'm going to bring something to the table today. My name is Janine Segal. I'm super excited to be here tonight and to share with you. And yeah, my job is a CEO at Access Lighting, and we're a lighting manufacturer that's based in Southern California. And I'm excited to announce that our primary focus is energy efficient lighting. So all of that LED lighting that you see around, that is what we manufacture. And then we deliver it to stores, we import it and deliver it to stores. And then hopefully there's lots of people out there purchasing LED lighting and trying to conserve some of the energy that we've heard so much about this evening. If you were to tell me when I was your age that this is the job that I was going to be doing when I was in my 50s, I probably would have laughed myself silly. I've always loved children. And so I, growing up in South Africa, decided that I wanted to be a teacher. And I went and pursued a degree in teaching, and then decided that I also wanted to incorporate that with exercise and nutrition, and went on to do a graduate degree in those two fields. My father, in the interim, started a lighting company in the United States. And when I shifted from San Diego, California to Irvine, California, I went to work for my dad in the interim while I looked for a job to work at a hospital. And guess what? I got hooked. So much like everybody else's scenario, sometimes you start off trying to pursue one kind of a career, and before you know it, something pops up, some kind of opportunity, or you meet somebody and things veer. But the thing that is so delightful about school is that you can often apply many of the things that you learn in one degree to so many other things. So I did a little bit of homework, and I wanted to tell you what a CEO is defined as. So I looked up in a dictionary definition. And so the CEO, of course, is a chief executive officer and defined as the head of a company or organization. And according to Merriam-Webster, it's considered the highest rank in a firm and the individual who acts as the public face and makes major corporate decisions. So I wanted to tell you what my experience is as the CEO of the company, and then I'll explain to you how I got there. So if I were to simplify my role in my own words, I would say that I wear 3 hats on a daily basis. I behave like a head cheerleader. I am the chief of firemen, and I feel like the city planner. And so what I mean by that is I spend a really good portion of my day motivating employees. I try to get them to work to their maximum capabilities or potential and to extend themselves a little bit further. And I also try to make sure that they're happy, they're engaged in their job, they love working for the company, and that they strike a life and a work balance. I also need to make sure that all of those employees are working together and that they like collaborating and that there's a good synergy amongst everybody. The chief fireman is the next portion of my job. And if I tell you how many fires or issues pop up in a day, you probably wouldn't believe me. But because we're a manufacturer, we deal with factories that are based in Taiwan, based sometimes in Germany, depending on the period of time. We've dealt with factories in Italy, factories in Spain, and presently factories in China. And I'm sure all of you are familiar with the supply chain issues that are going on. And so we need to deal with so many different groups. We need to make sure that the goods are being produced in China. I'm not sure if you knew this, but there's rolling blackouts right now in China. So what that means is they're trying to conserve energy, and so they shut down the factories. So imagine this, right? Most factories don't produce every portion of a lighting fixture. The LED board comes from one factory. The glass comes from another factory. And the third factory is putting all of these pieces together. So if the LED board factory is open on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that's how many days as they're allowed to work. And the factory that puts everything together is only allowed to be open on a Tuesday and a Thursday. How are you getting the LED board to the factory that's putting the board into the fixture, right? Kind of complicated. So we have to worry about all of those things. In addition to that, there are very few containers right now in China. And on top of that, there's not very many ships. So we have to make sure that we coordinate, that we get a container, then we get stuff onto a ship, and then we get it brought into the United States. Once it gets to the United States, we have to worry about the issues at port. So there are not enough truck drivers to now get the goods from the port to our facility in Irvine, California. So those are some of the fires that we put out on a daily basis. In addition to that, we have to worry about if a fixture fails and a customer is complaining about our fixture. So we have to figure out what the problem is. We have to troubleshoot with the customer on the telephone and figure out how we can resolve their issues. So those are some of the problems we deal with on a daily basis. And then the last thing is I feel like a city planner. So as the CEO of a company, what you need to constantly be doing is thinking about what the future is of the company. What's our game plan? What kind of markets are we trying to acquire? And how are we going to about acquiring those markets? So we may decide that we want to pursue business with hotels, right? Okay, we want to start doing business with Marriott hotels. How are we going to go about engaging with Marriott hotels? What kind of lighting does Marriott hotels like? Who can I go present my product to? What kind of marketing material am I going to need? All of those things require planning. So we have to plan them and we have to pave this road for ourselves to be able to develop that market. So those are some of the things that I do on a daily basis. I'm also involved in a lot of trade shows. And we have a permanent showroom in Dallas at the World Trade Center where we show our products twice a year. And there we have to design the layout of the showroom. We have to make sure all the fixtures are hung up. We have to make sure there's some cool giveaways so our customers want to come into the showroom. We have to make sure that we have some cool food to eat, some great events to go do, and that folks really love the vibe that's in the showroom. So really, I just wanted to share what I love about my job. I'm involved in sales and I interact with store owners, contractors, architects, designers. I also have traveled all over the world, from Asia, including China and Hong Kong very frequently, to Spain, Italy, and Germany. There's a huge lighting show in Spain called Euroluce, in Italy called Euroluce, and in Frankfurt, Germany, the largest lighting show in the world. And my job takes a lot of collaboration and it's fun. We get to be creative. I'm energized by the people that I work with. We are not afraid to make mistakes. And so we try to challenge ourselves. And if something doesn't work, we go back to the drawing board and we try something new. And so that's kind of what I do. And I just wanted to share that the reason I got here is that unfortunately, my dad got quite ill during COVID. And so I was assigned the job of being CEO. So I went to bed as the sales manager, and the next morning there was an announcement that I didn't even know about. And I was told that I was going to be the CEO of the company. And honestly, while it was quite daunting at the beginning, what I've learned is I learned far more by being involved and having the responsibility myself. Do you guys ever collaborate sometimes where you're in a group and you're sort of like the assist and somebody else is leading? Well, all of a sudden I had to lead. And whilst it was a little frightening, I feel like I learned so much more, so much faster. And once I sort of got my cadence, it's really quite enjoyable and invigorating. So that's my little spiel. I'd love to field some questions.
Yeah, I was, hi, thank you so much for coming on and talking. I was kind of curious about like how you kind of contact like stores? Like, do you kind of do it through email and then kind of go from there, like reach out, visit them in person? Like, how do you kind of get that connection?
Sure, great question. So the way that a lot of companies work, and this would hold true for lighting, would hold true for furniture, there's outside independent reps, and each of those reps own their own company, and they're based in different parts of the country. And so they have the relationship with the store in their area, and they represent you, and they go in and they share your goods. And then we kind of manage them and they manage the store. And that holds true for e-commerce too, right? So we sell to, like, you could see our products on Wayfair, or you could see our products on Lamps Plus or Lowe's or Home Depot. More questions?
Cool, thank you.
Sure, no worries. What other questions you got? Come on, there's got to be a question.
Sorry, I didn't catch the company at the beginning. I just want to know what the company name is.
ACCESS, Access Lighting.
ACCESS.
Yeah.
I'll look, because like maybe I have like lights around my house or something. I don't know.
You could absolutely have. We do all sorts of fun lighting. Some of the stuff that we've done is smart lighting, you know, so you can change the color of the bulbs, you can change the color temperature, you can control the bulbs from your phone. There's really cool stuff. There's a lot of technology right now in lighting. Lighting is very technically advanced right now. More questions? Yes.
I'm wondering, as a CEO, how involved are you in like everyday like product? Because you're managing like this whole company. I'm wondering, like, do you like have to like sign off on different products, or like do you view the different products, or kind of how does that work?
Excellent question. So I'm not sure what it's like in other companies. We're a small family-owned company, so everybody in the company wears a lot of hats. So I absolutely sign off on every single product, and I'm actually actively involved in the product design and the manufacturing. So we get to choose where we're going to get that product made, what the design looks like, what the finishes are going to be, what the capabilities are, how much light is coming out of the fixture. All of those things I sign off on. Yep. And the price of the product as well. Love that question. More questions. Come on. This is a really interesting field because it entails sales. There's data management. There's, yes.
Well, I'm kind of interested in the marketing aspect of the light. So could you expand a little bit on that part?
Oh my gosh, yes. So marketing, when we first started out, we used to make tons of catalogs. So our catalogs would be about 400 pages long, right? And then you have to get those printed up. You have to do pictures on every page, specs on every page, come up with some application type things. And now things have kind of evolved, and we're doing a lot more online marketing. And those kinds of things are going to be Facebook, which we're terrible at. We're working on it right now, but we're realizing we have to do more of that. Instagram, Facebook, all of those kinds of marketing routes instead of paper. But that's how we traditionally started, was much more with paper. But marketing is a huge portion of things. And what's really interesting about the marketing side is you really have to know what your target audience is, right? So the way you're marketing to a contractor is way different than the way you're marketing to an architect. So sometimes you have to do two versions of the same product in a completely different way. One's maybe really kind of cool and sleek looking, and the other one is just straight up, here's the price, here's what the product looks like, here's the specs. Marketing is hugely important to us. Tell us when you're ready for a job. More questions?
Does anyone else, guys, anyone?
What is the most rewarding part of your job?
That's an excellent question as well. For me personally, I like to see the people in our particular group grow. So they come in, they maybe can do a little bit, and as they're progressing, as we're learning, as we're improving together, they acquire new skills. I think that's very rewarding for me. I like to see that. I like to see people elevate in the company. I also love that really changed our image. So Edward, you were asking about marketing. We've spent a lot of time over the past 2 years changing the branding of the company, the way the company looks, the color of our logo, the background colors, all of those things. And people are starting to notice it recently. And that's been super rewarding. So those would be the two things that are most exciting for me.
Thank you.
Sure. More questions. I can tell you about nutrition and school teaching if lighting's not your thing.
I mean, right now I'm looking at your or at the company's website,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, I see it. It's like it's really well done. You know, like the mod, like it just looks like a good modern website. Yeah, I think that's
And-
definitely like.
Go have a look on Monday. We're releasing a new website. That's really cool. That one still, does it still say work in progress?
It says no.
Oh, maybe the new one's up already. It's supposed to be up on Monday.
It
Good.
says for a new
Excellent.
kind of world.
Ah, new kind of partner for new kind of work. Yes, that's our new tagline.
Yeah.
Do you approve?
Looks great. I approve.
Thank you. Awesome. Any other questions that anybody has? You can ask me anything.
What's
Nope.
what's the time like? Like, is it really stressful? Or like for you?
Is it really stressful? Can be. So when I get done with you guys, I need to hop onto the phone and connect. We have an office in Hong Kong and we have to connect with the office. Do you know what I really believe the answer is? I think if you have the right people in the right position and you surround yourself with some experts in each arena. So for us, it would be, we need a really excellent person in purchasing, really excellent person in marketing, a really good person in our finance, a really good person in product development, then my job is a lot easier. When I'm having to chase after each of those people because they're not getting their job done, my job becomes more stressful. So I think that a good CEO, which I would not qualify myself as that, but I think a good CEO has really good people in place, each one doing their job. And then you as the CEO just need to check in and make sure that they have what they need, they're getting their job done, and they're collaborating. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Excellent.
And is it kind of hard to like trust like other people to kind of like run everything? Like, is that kind of like a hard thing to have? Or?
Yes, it takes a little bit of time to build up some trust, and sometimes folks fail, they don't succeed. If I've learned anything over the last 2 years when I've sort of been in the hot seat, I try not to scream and shout at people. I feel like if you're not making mistakes and you're always successful, my husband works at Intel and they always say, if you're not failing, you're not pushing yourself far enough, right? It's that failure that leads you to something greater than just acceptable, right? It's easy to accomplish just the bare minimum. It's harder to push yourself, fail, go back to the drawing board and try to improve on what you failed on, right? So I think that, yes, it takes a little bit to trust folks. Yep, it does. It's a little scary some days.
What
And
do
how do you, oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
you can go.
Oh, thanks. I was wondering, how do you find like people to hire? Like, what's the best way?
Our solution of late has been, we have a competitor that's actually quite good at what they do, but they haven't done a really great job of looking after their employees. Their employees haven't been happy there. And we've managed to take a couple of employees, they've come to us and asked for a job, and the timing has been perfect. So oftentimes I would say that networking, I know you guys hear this a lot, but networking is key, because if you're networking within your industry, then you can reach out to somebody and say, hey, I'm looking for a customer service manager, or I'm looking for a marketing person. So make sure you keep up on that networking, whether it's with your OES buddies or when you go into college. My niece just graduated with her master's in business, and she said it was networking that helped her to get her job, and she has a really great job and just a recent graduate. So I think networking is super, super important. When you go to college, join those different groups, meet folks, make those contacts. You just never know who you're meeting. It may be somebody that you're sitting next to, you know, on a bench waiting for a bus. Just make those interactions happen. My best advice. Hope it's good
Cool.
advice.
Thank you.
What do you do in a case when like a team isn't working well together? Like this could even be helpful in like group projects, but like what do you suggest to do to like help a team come together?
This is a really tough situation. So, you know, we have this happen a lot. I'm a huge believer that the key is communication. You have to be honest. Sometimes it's hurtful. Sometimes people don't like what you have to say. But I think that if you are calm and you make that person that you're not collaborating well with realize that hopefully your goal is common, right? So the goal is to make this the best project possible, to complete the project, and to be successful in your execution of the project. I think that's the first thing to establish. Sometimes you're going to establish that somebody really doesn't care. And unfortunately, you have to just kind of keep plodding forward and pick up that slack. But my belief is that if you're working towards a common goal, that's the first step in the right direction.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
helpful. Yeah, of course. I
Yeah,
love this.
thank you.
This is fun. Good, good. Other questions? Any interest in what travel's like? Not as exciting as it seems, just so you know. I spend 1 week in Portland and 1 week in Orange County, usually. So I flip between the two places, 1 week there at the facility, working with people because it is challenging to be remote, I will be honest. And I'm remote when I'm in Portland because we're based out of Southern California. If you guys are ever interested in seeing what a warehouse looks like or production a little bit or what the facility looks like and you're in Orange County, just reach out to me. I'm happy to take you on a little tour.
Where is Orange County, by the way? Just wondering.
Southern California.
Southern California. Yeah.
Yep. I'm happy to show you. We have some lights up. You can come learn about some things. You can meet with the marketing person, the data person, the product development person with the greatest of pleasure if you have any interest.